Warning, this video contains team selection and captain choices which some viewers may find offensive.
Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. Before we look ahead to Game Week 36, let's see how my 15-man squad performed in the big double Game Week 35 with my bench boost chip activated. I felt quite unlucky with my goalkeepers this week, with Lloris only playing one of his two fixtures, and Ben Foster of Watford conceding agonisingly in the 93rd minute against Huddersfield, 11 points from the pair. In defence, there was more misfortune, with me replacing Brighton's Shane Duffy with Southampton's Jan Valery. Duffy then went on to score 8 points, and Valery only played 12 minutes of his double game week. Disaster. The reliable Trent Alexander-Arnold did the business though, and Matt Doherty picked up his first return since Game Week 27. So in the end, 44 points from defence, and despite a few negatives, that's still a very respectable tally. In midfield, Kevin De Bruyne picked up an injury within 33 minutes, so a frustrating one-pointer for him in the double game week. Son Heung-min also blanked in both games, and the South Korean is starting to enter troll territory for me. I've now owned him for a total of 10 games this season, and the most I've got from him is a 6-pointer. Disappointing. Speaking of trolls, I brought in my arch-nemesis Callum Wilson this game week on the back of a huge 15-pointer away to Brighton. The striker had a tantalising fixture at home to Fulham in Game Week 35, the side with the worst offensive record in the league, and of course in fine fashion he returned the bog-standard 2 points. F***'s sake. The less said about him the better. It was also a very quiet week for the Mane and Salah double-up, who had many chances but couldn't take them against Cardiff. On the positive, a big shout-out goes to Diogo Jota, who put in a big performance at home to Arsenal, and my faith in Jamie Vardy despite the single fixture paid off, with him continuing his fine form. After a pretty average game week, what I really needed was some returns from my captain, and that's what I didn't get this week with Jimenez blanking in both home fixtures. Had he scored a goal or two, I could have been looking at a green arrow, but unfortunately his 2 blanks made it a total of 89 points for Game Week 35 with a -4 hit, so 85 altogether. Yet again, it's another chip used, and in terms of my overall ranking, another opportunity missed, because much like my wildcard and free hit in recent weeks, the bench boost has ended up with me dropping in rank. When utilised correctly, the chips can be a great tool to boost up those rankings, but that has certainly not been the case for me this season, and that's something I'm going to have to improve on for next year. With 3 game weeks still left to go though, I've got to remain positive and hope I can jump into the top 20,000 before the season ends. So let's move on to Game Week 36 now, and check out my transfer plans and team selection for Friday's Game Week deadline. And if you haven't already, be sure to drop a like on the video and get subscribed to FPL TV if you enjoy the content here. With Kevin De Bruyne picking up that injury against Tottenham, that's kind of made my decision for me this week, with the Belgian more than likely being my transfer out. My understanding is the injury isn't too serious and he could return to action soon, but for 9.7 million, I'm not sure I can justify holding on to him just in case. The player I want to get for the end of season run-in is his teammate Raheem Sterling, so this is the move I'm looking to make for Game Week 36. The only issue here is that I can't afford the straight swap, so if I do want to buy Sterling, then it's likely that Callum Wilson is going to have to make way. The key to getting points from Callum Wilson this season is to remain patient with the striker, so it's a pretty amateur move from me to bring him in and then sell him again. However, if I want to buy Sterling, then someone has to make way, and it's either Wilson or one of my Wolves players Jota or Jimenez. And with Wolves facing Fulham in Game Week 37, I'm more keen to hold on to those for now. With only 4.8 million to spend, Callum Wilson's replacement would have to be Southampton's Shane Long, who will mostly occupy my bench. Southampton do have a home fixture against Huddersfield in Game Week 38 though, so perhaps he can be a nifty budget option to own for that final game week of the season. So there's my potential transfers for Game Week 36, and here's how I could line up for Friday evening's deadline. Nothing's confirmed yet though, so be sure as always to check the FPL TV Twitter page shortly before the deadline passes. My budget defence will line up, boasting 4 home fixtures this week, so hopefully a couple of clean sheets there. My gut feeling is that Trent Alexander-Arnold could get rested in this tantalising home fixture against Huddersfield though, with a trip to Barcelona just around the corner. It'll be a big shame to miss out on what looks to be a nailed-on clean sheet for Liverpool, but unfortunately one of my bench options will have to do if so. With Raheem Sterling likely to come in, it truly is a power 5 in midfield for my squad. With so much cash spent here, I seriously need this midfield to do the business in the next few game weeks. Again, Liverpool rotating against Huddersfield is definitely a concern, but there's no going back for me now on owning both Mane and Salah for this one, so fingers crossed they both play. Up front, I like the look of Jamie Vardy's chances this week, facing an Arsenal side who seem to ship so many goals away from home. Interestingly, the striker has an excellent record against the Gunners too, with 6 goals in 7 appearances, a sneaky differential captain pick perhaps. To finish off, Jimenez will join Diogo Jota as Wolves face Watford away this week. This is a rematch of that memorable FA Cup semi-final a few weeks back, so even though Wolves are very unpredictable, I'm hoping that previous meeting can add a bit of spice to this fixture and hopefully a few goals. For captaincy this week, it's almost impossible to look past Liverpool's home fixture against Huddersfield. On the positive, their game is on Friday evening, and the Champions League fixture away to Barcelona isn't until Wednesday, so quite a large gap between the fixtures there. However, in my opinion, this is still a very winnable game without their best players, and therefore Jurgen Klopp must see this as a great chance to give some of them a rest. So even though I'll likely be captaining Salah or Mane this week, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned. For now at least, the captaincy stays with Mo Salah, with the vice-captain set on Sadio Mane. The thinking here is that if Salah does miss out, hopefully he'll end up missing the full 90, with my vice-captain then coming into play. Raheem Sterling, on the other hand, is surely a guaranteed starter for City, so he has to be in contention. As for Jamie Vardy, I don't think I'll have the balls to captain him, but as mentioned, he's a tempting differential given his great record against Arsenal. If I do make the move for Raheem Sterling this game week, then new budget signing Shane Long will likely occupy the first spot on my bench. Kyle Walker-Peters didn't end up getting any minutes during the double game week, but the question is, will he now be used at home to West Ham before Tottenham play Ajax in the Champions League midweek? On that basis, I could be tempted to start him in my lineup this game week just in case. If Trent Alexander-Arnold should rotate with Joe Gomez this week, then Matt Doherty is his replacement away to Watford. A player I don't expect to get a clean sheet, but still a very decent replacement when considering his attacking exploits. So that's how my team could line up for Friday evening's game week deadline. As mentioned, nothing is confirmed yet, so I'll mull these decisions over in the next 24 hours. I wish all of you the very best for game week 36, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon.